Civil War was a 7-issue event series written by Mark Millar and illustrated by Steve McNiven, released in 2006. And honestly, it's pretty overrated. And yet it's Marvel's top-selling comic in the last 20 years.
I think it's actually the best-selling for 18 years,
18
which doesn't
years.
sound as good as 20 years.
And still available.
Nearly 20 years.
So if you can't already tell, things are a bit different this time. I'm calling this fan favorite series out for how painstakingly average it really is. Not only is it a bad book with shallow, one-dimensional characters, it set Marvel down a path of event dependence and lazy, repetitive storytelling designed to line their pockets with extra cash. Now, why does that sound so familiar to me? Let me start by saying there are a few good things about this book. There are fun moments throughout, and it starts with a clever twist on the blurred line between reality TV and the real world that's gone from funny to scary in the decade since the book's release. When a team of reality show superheroes bite off more than they can chew, the government decides to crack down and implement a Big Brother system of registration and regulation for all heroes. It's a tragic and understandable start to a story that loses any shred of logic by the second act. The most praiseworthy aspect is easily McNiven's art. Holy crap, this guy can draw. And when he's complemented by Dexter Vine's inks and Maury Hollowell's colors, each image practically flies off the page. On the other hand, Millar does a good job focusing on a few characters during the conflict, allowing us to see how their personal lives change as the story intensifies. Anytime he gives us a peek at Sue Storm and Reed Richards slowly growing apart, it adds badly needed emotional weight to his story, designed to force everyone into arbitrary corners for marketing reasons. As the Marvel Universe splits in two, its oldest couple breaks with it, an obvious metaphor that complements the emotional consequences of the story. These personal moments are nice, but they're not enough to make me enjoy a book about a group of adults who refuse to talk about their problems rationally. Civil War is a straightforward action story where most of the drama comes from characters overreacting. This woman is so freaked out she even spits on Iron Man. Now that's a compelling way to make someone realize they should support government legislation that could lead to half their friends getting arrested. But honestly, the book's conflict is too ridiculous to take seriously. Sure, Captain America might not support registration at the beginning of the series, but I doubt he would have assembled an underground team to combat the government if S.H.I.E.L.D. didn't attack him for pretty much no reason. Did you really think that was gonna go well? He's obviously gonna react now that he thinks you're willing to kill him. And I'm not trying to say Captain America is flawless here. He was fine having Punisher help despite knowing how he likes to work. But seeing him kill in person one time is all of a sudden too much for this soldier to handle. And he beats the shit out of him just to prove a point. You knew what this man was about the entire time, you idiot. And now you look like a monster for beating him half to death. No one wants to think or talk about anything. They all just hope jumping and kicking will make their problems go away. Some role models these heroes are. The main characters act more like caricatures than complex individuals. Captain America is from the 1940s, so he embodies personal liberty at the expense of logic, while Iron Man, the living computer, turns into an NSA mascot who advocates for the monitoring and mass incarceration of rebel heroes. Neither of these characters recognize certain compromises could be made that would make either argument a bit more manageable, but instead they just stay on their single-minded paths towards disaster. I really don't understand what Captain America thinks he can do. He's essentially leading a revolution, but he doesn't realize that the only way he can change anything without beating up every bureaucrat in the country is doing some heavy-duty lobbying on Capitol Hill to change the word of the law. Checks and balances still apply in the Marvel Universe, ya dingus. Team Iron Man really isn't that much better. They want professional heroes in control of dangerous situations, but that doesn't stop them from cloning a fucking god. Something that seems more likely to cause danger than prevent it. The people who think everyone should follow the law take it upon themselves to create life just for the sake of having some backup muscle. So they really come across as hypocritical and unlikable instead of heroic and justified in their behavior. Both sides have valid points, but my god, Mark Millar makes it impossible to support either group here. The central debate is, should heroes be registered and trained like cops, or should the Marvel Universe continue relying on amateurs with good instincts like they've always done? Now there's a lot of good points to this argument, and I really wish it was explored a bit better, but the question is essentially dropped by issue number 5. The series clearly stops being about ideas and becomes a Marvel orgy with as many characters as they could throw into the mix. What could have been an interesting series about ethics and surveillance in the 21st century turned into S.H.I.E.L.D. releasing a bunch of supervillains to beat up rebel heroes. That doesn't really sound better than just letting a few rookie heroes try to do the right thing. Don't you think more people will get hurt sending supervillains out there for amateurs to deal with? Wasn't the whole problem started when powerful villains used their abilities in public, with no one around to stop them? And now the government is just okay with throwing bad guys back on the street? Villains who don't care about the law or want to help people in the slightest bit are chill to work with. But heroes like Captain America and Luke Cage, who still genuinely care about doing good, need to be taken out? Fuck you, that makes no sense. Honestly, Civil War was just unnecessary. I know comic publishers are gonna throw events at me, but the main point here was to set up all the stuff that comes afterwards. The Marvel Universe was one way a second ago, but now it's this way. We've got your Mighty Avengers, your Secret Avengers, your Back in Black Spider-Man. Can you even believe it? But what pissed me off the most is that the real ending isn't even included in the core story. So if you somehow still care about spoilers, please go to this point in the video because I don't want to ruin this 10-year-old story for you. Are we ready? Okay then. Well, after Team Cap break their super friends out of prison, they're all teleported to New York City for an epic battle. But instead of allowing the fight between Cap and Iron Man to come to a satisfying conclusion, we're given a generic scene where a couple of tough, blue-collar New Yorkers throw themselves in harm's way to save Iron Man. A couple of shitty lines later and bada boom, Captain America just gives up and has himself arrested. It's truly an awful ending to a story that wasted 7 months of fans' time. But about 3 months after Cap is arrested, the story is slightly redeemed when he's assassinated on a courthouse steps, giving readers a more symbolic conclusion than Captain America just walking away like a crybaby. His passing represents the death of an old system and the loss of innocence and personal liberty in the age of technological encroachment and governmental monitoring, perfectly represented here by Iron Man becoming the new head of S.H.I.E.L.D. And yet it had to come nearly 3 months after the story ended. The whole story is about change in America, and the editors didn't even have the balls to end on a symbolic high note.
You.
The best way I can make you understand how oversaturated modern Marvel events have become is to remind people that we've been suffering through the damn Transformers movies for about the same amount of time, and both are just now kicking into overdrive.
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
People eat this shit up whether it's good or not, and Civil War started a trend Marvel couldn't afford to ignore. Hero versus hero is the new peanut butter and jelly, and it shows formulaic stories are easy bets for publishers. You gotta remember, Marvel declared bankruptcy 10 years before Civil War was published, so anything that sold well had to be milked and repeated to keep the company in the green. So, buckle up everybody, because since the first Civil War, we've had some exciting stories like World War Hulk, where everyone's favorite heroes joined forces to beat up the nerd Bruce Banner. Secret Invasion, where the Avengers battle shape-shifting aliens disguised as the Avengers. Shadowland, where street-level heroes unite to stop Daredevil from becoming the warlord of Hell's Kitchen. What? Schism, where the X-Men break up over whether they think Wolverine or Cyclops is sexier. And who can forget the page-turning Avengers v X-Men, where, you guessed it, two groups of rational adults choose to fight about their problems instead of talk things through. Worst of all is the ongoing Civil War II, a sequel no one wanted, but was perfectly timed to milk the release of that one small movie in theaters a few months ago. No one was asking for it, but the first issue sold pretty well, so fuck me, right? Reviewers have been trashing the series, so hopefully Marvel will learn from their mistakes and give us a break from all this hero-on-hero action. With the success of Suicide Squad, and the upcoming comic tie-in Suicide Squad v Justice League, which might as well be called Heroes Fighting Villains, maybe Marvel will let their heroes be positive role models again. I'm not trying to say all Marvel events are bad. I loved last summer's Secret Wars, and I really enjoy a lot of the books they're putting out today. But I do think most of their creative success in recent years has come from smaller stories that focus on characters in a different light, like Matt Fraction's Hawkeye. If series like that, and Tom King's recent run on Vision, are a sign of what's to come, I think the House of Ideas has a bright future ahead. What did you say? Inhumans v X-Men in 2017?
Oh, come on!
Give me a break, Marvel.